So basically, this is about getting to know your body better. And that's all it's about, is exploring. It's not about taking on what I say or suggest. It's using what I say or suggest to help you understand your body better. So if you just shut your eyes. With every breath in, just let the breath fill the whole of your body. So when I'm talking today, I'm talking to the personal awareness. I'm just going to define again the difference between personal awareness and the big consciousness. So instantly, this room is known. Instantly, the sound of my voice is known. Instantly, the sensations of your body are known. There is something that's conscious of it without any effort, and it's instantaneous. And then in that, there is a functioning of personal awareness. And the personal awareness is the ability to move the lens. So if you look at it like a camera, it's the ability to move the attention. So you can move your attention onto the top of your head, onto the tip of your nose, onto the sounds outside, onto the emotions inside, onto your thoughts, onto what you're going to do later. Your attention can move and shift. But prior to your personal awareness, there is a consciousness that knows that. There is something that recognizes the movement of attention. So who we think we are is just the personal awareness. The one that thinks, the one that chooses, the one that moves the attention, that walked into this room, that leaves the room. We think we're this person that exists inside the body. And we also put in ideas about ourselves with this personal awareness. We have a feeling that that's somebody, that's come from the past and is moving into the future. And that somebody has a certain amount of money, has a certain lifestyle, a birth date, can be described in a certain way. And we feel it's inside our body, and that's us. And we're told often that that's our soul. Like the Christianity that I grew up in, I didn't grow up in much, but the little bit that I did grow up in told me that that was my soul. And my soul had free will. And my responsibility in this life was to be a good person and to have a good soul and to do good things. And that's fair enough, whatever society says. I'm not criticizing that or questioning that at the moment. But what I'm pointing to is that there's something that's conscious of that. So there's something that knows that. So if something's being seen, so you can see the movement of your attention, you can see the thoughts about you, there has to be something that's conscious of it. So the thoughts about you, your idea of you, your movement of attention, everything about you is being seen. There's something that's conscious of it. There has to be something that's conscious of that. So say if you're watching a film, you're quite aware that you're conscious of that film, or that you're watching that film. You're aware that there has to be something watching that film, that it's happening in front of you, that you're seeing it. That film can't be conscious of itself. There's something that's watching it. You're watching a film. And it's the same with you, with your ideas about yourself, your thoughts about yourself, your personal attention, your choices, all of them are being seen, are appearing. So there's something that sees it. They are not seeing. There's something prior to them conscious of it. They're not self-conscious, because if they were self-conscious, you wouldn't be able to see them. If a thought, or if a thought about you was conscious, you wouldn't be able to see that thought that's conscious. Okay, a better one than the film is putting on Google goggles. Not Google goggles, the virtual reality kit. Google goggles is old-fashioned now. So the virtual reality, if you put on a virtual reality and you're looking through somebody's eyes at this virtual world, so you decide to put on the virtual reality of Dolly Parton. When you put that on, you look through her eyes and you see Dolly Parton's world, her home, her dogs, her friends, her husband, her amazing body. You see all that, but you can't see anything about yourself. The looker that's looking at that virtual reality cannot see anything of itself. You looking at this reality cannot be seen. You are just looking. And the thoughts about Dolly Parton arise in this virtual reality. Ideas arise, feelings arise. And you are seeing all of them. But there's no Dolly Parton that experiences them. You, as the looker, are experiencing them. And so right now, in this reality, your thoughts, your feelings, your sensations, your ideas about yourself are arising and being seen by whom? Who sees them? If you think, well, it's me that sees them, who is this me? Who is this thought that says that? Because that thought is being seen, so that cannot be it. So say you think, I'm awareness, and I, as awareness, am seeing the person. But that's a thought again that's being seen. So who sees that thought? Who sees the next thought, the next image? Who's aware of that? Who is conscious of you? Or who are you? Your ideas, your feelings are all being experienced. And who is it that's experiencing them? Well, it's me, and I was born in 1980. But that thought right now is being experienced. By who? And you'll notice that there's a consciousness, a big consciousness, that's never moved, that's never changed, and has always been there. And this consciousness doesn't appear in every moment. It's not stopping and then starting again. It's always there. And it's always still, and it's always timeless. The time arises in it. The time comes and goes in it. Is one consciousness. This consciousness now is the same consciousness that was there when you were 3 years old. It's the same moment. It's not that you've had lots of moments and this is a different time and a different moment. There has been one consciousness that's never shifted, that's never moved in time. And in that, there's been a film of you. And that film's consisted of thoughts, ideas, feelings, sensations, memories, future projections. Your relationship with the outside world, with other people. Your status, your financial situation. All of that has come and gone in one thing that's never left. This conscious presence. And this is home. This is who you truly are. You're not the person that's moving. You're the presence that's here. Consciousness comes with a partner. So like everything in life, it has its opposite. So consciousness is not a thing. You cannot grab consciousness, you cannot look at consciousness, but yet there is consciousness. And its partner, so in traditional Advaita, they would call consciousness the masculine, and the feminine part of who you are is the I am. And that, they would say, is everything. Or maybe I say that. I'm not sure if they say that. They would say it in a slightly different way. So the I am is the everything part of life. So traditionally the Kali, which is dancing on Shiva's lap, which is the stillness. And they come together. This is always present, this sense of I am, not you are a name or you are an entity, but this sense of existence and this empty looking. You had that same sense of existence when you were 3 years old, even though all this life has changed and you, as the character, has changed and had all these experiences, it's still that same sense of being and that same empty looking, that same conscious presence. So my mum is totally not interested in this subject, but when she turned 70, she said, I don't feel 70. It's a shock when I look in the mirror. I can't believe I'm 70. And she says, I don't see myself as 70. And my friend, like I would never attempt to push non-duality onto my mum, but my friend jumped in, jumped on my mum saying that and said, yes, you feel the same age as when you were 5, when you were 10, when you were 21, when you were 30. And she was like, yes, I do. I certainly don't feel 70. And he had this massive conversation with her, how her sense of self, her internal sense of self, was ageless. This ageless sense of being. And it was always the same. And she wasn't 70, she was never 21, and she totally got it. It was very sweet. And that sense of being, that sense of existence, I call the I am. And then the other side to that is this empty looking, this consciousness. And some teachers teach that consciousness is prior, but I think this is sexist, as the consciousness is the masculine and the I am is the feminine. I think that they're both equal. And that the consciousness is not prior to the I am. They're equal. You can't have one without the other. You can't have life without consciousness. And you can't have consciousness without life. What would you be conscious of? So, our struggle as a human is the identification with being this character. And when we identify with being this character, we begin to become out of balance in our thinking and feeling body. We begin to believe we're separate. We begin to believe we have free will, we have choice, that life is ours, that we're in relationship with a separate world, that we were born and that we'll die. We begin to believe all these ideas and we base our life on it. And if you've ever tried to maintain a lie, it's very stressful. But we're not already conscious that we're lying, but this lie is formed that's out of line with reality and the way things are. And so our emotional body begins to go out of balance. We have an increase of worry, anxiety, compulsive thinking, our attempts to try to control every detail. We have conflict with others through blame, through guilt, through shame. It's not that these feelings in their basic form aren't relevant. It's relevant to feel. But we overemphasize them. We spend days worrying about something, and then that feeling in our body grows. And we don't acknowledge the feeling, we don't deal with the feeling, so it just stays in the body, and our body becomes tight and uncomfortable. And the way to change this is just to become aware of what's happening. Just becoming aware of the lie, of the illusion, and become aware of what you're feeling and what your body's actually saying. And I feel that the best way to become aware of your body is to understand the chakra system. I feel like it's very accurate emotionally. When you feel heartbroken, you feel it in the heart. And this is what the chakra system says as well. When you feel powerless and out of control, you feel it in the solar plexus. When you feel like you cannot speak and being suppressed, and that you cannot show emotion, you feel it in your throat. When you compulsively think, you feel it in your forehead. When you empathize or imagine or understand someone's point of view, you feel it in the forehead. When you feel connected and more spacious, you feel it in your head. When you feel closed and tight, you feel a pressure down on your head. When you feel grounded, you'll feel it in the base of your tummy, below your navel. When you feel connected, when you feel spacious, when you feel fear, you'll feel it there. When you feel anxiety, you'll feel it there in the pit of your stomach. I feel sick to the pit of my stomach. And we even have sayings that recognize this in our society. I feel sick to the stomach about something. I feel a lump in my throat. And then you've got the base chakra. The chakra system, just as there's a few people that are new today, the chakra system, the typical chakra system says something different to what I say about the bottom two chakras. And I encourage you to explore and find what's true for you. And I found that what they called the base chakra was what was my second chakra, was the chakra below the navel. I found it was the opposite way around. So if you look it up, then you'll realize that they're different from the way I explain it. And that's just because it just is the way it feels in my body. I got born out of order, or we maybe all are just unique and have our own particular chakra system. But use this as a basis to help you explore. The base chakra for me is sexuality and love. How to balance its numbness, disconnection. So let's start with the base chakra. So move your attention, your personal attention, down to your base chakra. And you're totally allowed to have attention down there. We sometimes feel we're not allowed to put attention down there because our genitals are there, and genitals in our current society are excluded. We're not allowed gas, and we're not allowed to feel sexually aroused in public. These are two no-goes. So this area often becomes numb to people. We cut it off, and it's so beautiful. We allow this area for when we're in bed with our lover. Apart from that, it's a no-go zone. You're bad if you feel it in public. You're bad if you feel it around your parents. You're bad if you feel it when you're teaching English. Which is totally not true. We would never do that to animals. Actually, my mum did. She used to have a dog that was very sexually aroused all the time. And if you've ever had a male dog, it's very obvious. So they'll sit in public, so you take them somewhere and it's very obvious. If you have a male dog, you'll know what I mean. And he used to often do it. My poor mum was very embarrassed by it. The dog was very proud. And she would try to, but he wouldn't really understand, so she couldn't really shame him about it. If you really get to know this area, you'll begin to realize that sexuality is love. It's not really that sexual arousal that we see in society. It can be as an expression, like that very rampant sexual excitement, but it's actually love. In general, it's like a hum of love, like intimacy. And the way that you experience it as love is you're not trying to get anything. You're not trying to make love to someone or get something for that area to complete it in any way. You just feel that feeling without trying to have something, and it turns into love. This is a very traditional Tantra practice for men, is to use their sexual attraction to women, to use it to find their own love, and to take that back inside themselves, to take that energy inside themselves. Rather than trying to get the woman or try to have the woman or impress the woman, they just own it inside themselves and allow that love energy to go back up through themselves. From what I understand, although I found it quite hard trying to research this subject, and some of the books were very boring because they talked too much about things that were irrelevant. But when I did find information, I understand that this practice was quite common in southern India, and it would be a female guru that would teach it, an attractive female guru that would teach and have these male students, and she wouldn't have sex with the students as such. But they would use that sexual attraction towards her as a way to remembering their own divinity. But it was hard researching it because getting through all the boring parts was difficult. And I'm sure also it was very taboo in India. I don't even know if it still exists, these traditions. And there was no mention of women, so I can't tell you if women had that about a male guru. I can imagine it would work the same the other way. And I had one friend that practiced this, and they would practice it all the time. So they would go down to the beach, and they'd see all these beautiful women, and they would just sit there and use that as a practice to bring the energy and love themselves and own that energy back into themselves. And they'd go to the shopping mall. And then eventually, their attraction would just be for all women. It wouldn't be for just a particular look. They'd begin to feel attraction for all women, and potentially all men as well, for all forms. You can even have that energy to an inanimate object. You see the sexuality in all of life, because it is in all of life. Because sexuality is creation. It's creating. And life is infinitely creative. So this subject can be very taboo. Because we're so shamed around feeling sexual. So now you go up to the next chakra. So no, in traditional chakra systems, these two are turned round. So your sexuality is actually just below your navel in traditional chakra system. But to me, this area is what they would say is the base chakra, which is this trust and this groundedness. This trust that life isn't against you, that is for you. That life isn't working against you. When it's out of balance, this area, it's in fear and anxiety, that life is against you. That the big monster's going to come and get you, or the bad people that are controlling this society. Fear is a very powerful emotion. The goal is not to get rid of fear. The goal is to embrace fear. It's a very important emotion. But to have fear without feeling victim to it, to have fear without being crushed by it, it's very wise to fear the lion. To respect the lion. But if you try to avoid fear and push fear away, what you'll end up doing is creating compulsive thinking about fear. Just say, when you're a child, if you have a monster underneath your bed and you lay paralyzed in your bed because you believe there's a monster under your bed, if you don't get out of your bed and look at what's underneath your bed, then you'll just be paralyzed in that fear. And you'll just be obsessed with that fear of the monster. And getting out of the bed and looking at that monster under the bed doesn't mean that you don't have fear. It's that you're at peace with fear. You're at peace with that. You embrace that feeling. You see the strength of fear, the power in fear. You don't see fear as a weakness. Fear is not a weakness. Fear is a strength. Your weakness is to run away from fear. So now move on to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is found at the point of your rib cage, the bottom of your rib cage at that point, just above the stomach. This is an amazing point. This point, to me, is about choice. It's about choosing and feeling like you can accomplish what you set out to accomplish. So whether that be building a house or having a child or running a marathon, this place is about strength and action and doing. This place also seems to create anger. You know that feeling when you're trying to accomplish something and something gets in the way and that fire comes up? You either get crushed by it, what comes up and gets in your way, or a fire comes up to overcome it. And it often manifests as a sensation of anger. which is energy. This area, I think, is also what contains depression, the feeling of depression and despair. This area is the place where you feel like you can't do it, like you're a failure, that life is against you, that you'll never make it, that you want to give up. So that's it, and it's negative. And sometimes it's appropriate to give up. But when it's out of balance and you keep repetitively feeling like that, it creates to me the sensation of depression, of no energy, of not feeling inspired, of feeling weak. So just notice the next time that you feel life is getting the better of you or that you can't do something, notice where you feel it. And the reason it's so important to see what you feel is that you'll understand yourself so much better when you're interacting with life. So we move up to the heart area. So this is in positive love, connection. Ramana Maharshi used to say that the I am first manifests in the left side of the heart. Really, the I am is everywhere, but I'm not sure exactly what he meant by it, but I kind of liked it. Really, I am is everywhere, that love is everywhere, but maybe on the human feeling level, it manifests as a feeling there. I liked it, but I can't really put it into words. They have a debate I said this the other day, in Nonduality or traditional Advaita, as to whether the I am is a feeling or not, a feeling of love, or that love is not a feeling, that it's not manifest. So out of balance, the heart area, like you can imagine, will be a sense that you're not enough, you're not good enough, you're not lovable. I think this is a big part of people seeking energy, is to feel lovable. Big part of your energy is to avoid feeling fear and to try to be lovable. And we invest a lot of energy into that. The more you begin to understand your chakra systems, the less you'll seek, because you'll see it's a pointless affair to try to get love from the world, to get safety from the world. You'll see that true love and true safety comes from the conscious, the empty looking, the conscious presence, and the I am. And then we've got the throat chakra, which is about communication. It's about being able to speak, express yourself, express what you feel, communicate with others. And just move your attention to these places as I speak about them. Don't stay in your thinking mind. When you can't do that, when you can't express yourself, and you can't express what you want and what you feel, then this area can feel tight and contracted. Often people report it back as a feeling of being strangulated, or a lump in your throat, like you have so much emotion, a lump is in your throat. So your next chakra point is the third eye, which to me is thinking, the ability to imagine, empathize, be able to see a bigger picture. Some say telepathy, but I think that sounds too extraordinary. I think all of us communicate non-verbally and have this ability to see beyond the words. But being telepathic sometimes sounds very ethereal and spiritual, and as if some have it more than others, which maybe they do. But we're doing it all the time. Out of balance, this is compulsive thinking, tension, obsession. And then we've got the top chakra point, which is connection to something beyond the body. It's an expansion. It's a growth. Out of balance, it tends to be numb and feeling limited. So this is your emotional body. This is the best way at the moment I feel I can help you to investigate it for yourself. Because that's the key, is your investigation of it. You understanding your particular makeup and way of being. What you think, what you feel, what you want. This is really for you. So please reject anything that doesn't ring true for you and accept and use whatever does ring true for you. This will be immensely helpful in your day-to-day life to know your body and what you feel. Once you know your body and you know what you feel, you can also begin to work on transforming that to a more positive and in-line way of thinking and feeling. To being more balanced. But with all of that, the consciousness is there. You do not need to work on being conscious. Consciousness is there. So in doing that, you're not working to get back to consciousness because consciousness is watching it the whole time. The I am is there the whole time. But through the relaxation, maybe that can be heard. When there's so much focus on you and your discomfort, then that seems far away. So as you take a deep breath in, just put your attention all the way through your body to the tip of your toes. And another little gift as you feel every part of your body. I just tell you that your body, your feelings, your sensations, your experiences, and the world are the same. The world is your body, and the body is the world. Okay, now you can begin to open your eyes. And you can take a half an hour break to stretch.